Hello, everyone. Hopefully, you guys are doing well. Welcome to the last part. That's part five, right? For pre-scene December 2024, pre-scene December 24 SPL's ACCA's SBL exam, right? So, in today's class, I'll be concluding my pre-scene analysis completely, right? And then we'll move on to solution of further past papers as well as solution of particularly other mocks. I'll be making some mocks based on this pre-scene, and I'll be solving one mock by myself and one mock will be solved by students, which I'll be marking. Right, since today is, I guess, 21, so I'm planning to release mock till 22nd or 23rd November, so that I'll be solving the mock on 24th and the students have to solve the mock on 25th, so that I can revert back till 27th and you have at least a time of week in which you can update it accordingly, right? So extract from Rodnim website. The Rodnim mission is to provide all our clients with a top quality service. Now, this is the extract of a website, right? Websites are basically a source of promotion, okay? Websites are basically source of promotion in which you are getting promoted, or you want your products to get promoted. So they have given just a little extract. In my point of view, the websites should have been animated. There should be good pictures, like events pictures and all that. I don't know whether they have that or not, but we can obviously do the value addition if there isn't required in website, right? So one of the students just commented, that's how we just deal with in my YouTube channel. I got an idea from a student. That's how we just deal with two particular projects, right? One is here we will mention that managing events of corporate and private clients. So there's an highly likely requirement as well, which I must say to you guys, that there's a highly likely requirements that diverse your portfolio. This could also be an option, huh? Diverse your portfolio. And since we see the virtual events are growing, right? Since we see the virtual events are growing, so there's a high chance to diverse your portfolio. So in diversification, they might ask you the pros and cons, that whether to do that or not. They might ask you that as well. Okay. So this is obviously possible in this case regarding this. And yeah. So this is the website extract, that ensuring that the needs and expectations are fully met. Okay, so needs and expectations are basically fully met in your event. This is their aim, right? We'll make every event memorable experience, both the clients and everyone attending the event. How they can make it memorable? They must have incorporated the pictures or the events of all that. Now, Rodnim's strategic aims are explore and exploit new business opportunities which may arise. So they always think of new business opportunities. Obviously, this is revenue and profit generation. Okay. Now, embrace and utilize innovative technologies to enhance operational efficiency, encourage an open, respectful, and ethical business culture. So they want open, respectful, and ethical culture as well, and innovative technologies to be adopted. Again, our entity's emphasis on technology reflects here, right? Our entity's emphasis on technologies reflects here, right? Then operate in environmentally sustainable manner. Okay, so sustainable manner operations are also there. Sustainable manner operations are also there, that you need to be sustainable as well. There are certain laws, regulations that you should be aware of in this industry, in which we have studied in the industry analysis as well. Now, again, they have given you the risk register. Now, see, this is the company's risk register, right? And as far as industry is concerned, I remember they have given us the industry related risk. So that much emphasis on risk. Like they have given you the industry related risk, and then they are going to give you the company's related risk as well. So that much emphasis on the risk means that it's for sure they are particularly going to test risk at extensive manner, right? They might, I'll be recommending this risk related topic as well again, because they have given you industry related risk and they have given you the entity related risk. So in that manner, you should be remembering your ERM framework, right? You should be remembering the Tara model. And at end of today, I'll also be particularly sharing the common questions that test all these requirements, right? The common questions that test all these requirements, I'll be sharing that so that you read the exam and answers and you must be aware of these types of requirements so that you can make yourself prepare for the mocks as well as for the exam. Yeah. So now risk register, I already highlighted the importance of risk register in the industry as well. And now they have given you the specific risk to their company. So there's definitely a question on risk, right? Now, Rodnim's risk register covers the main categories of risk which the business currently faces. The partners determine the nature and extent. So I guess kind of a Tara model. Tara model, if you remember, it's impact versus probability, right? So it's impact versus probability. That's Tara model for you. When setting the risk appetite, which limits the acceptability of risk, the individual risks are monitored by the management team. Okay. So that means they also set risk appetite, the capacity of an organization to take risk. I must say that you must be remembering this as well, the capacity of organization in risk, right? In taking risk, the individual risks are monitored by the management team, adjusted and adopted as necessary. Appropriate control activities are devised and undertaken to mitigate both the likelihood and the harmful effects. So, see, if they are telling you the likelihood and the that's probability and impact, so there's definitely a Tara here, right? So you should be preparing yourself for the risk chapter. In those students who are enrolled and have the LMS access, they should be going in particularly to the risk chapter and read that theory again so that they are aware of the capacities. And then the questions like cofold, and I remember highlight, these questions have the risk related questions. So you should be reading their answers as well. Okay. Now for each event, yeah, just a second. For each event, Rodnim also undertakes an individual risk assessment. So there are certain risks which are strategic, then there are operational risks as well. But there are certain that they have mentioned separately, although there are two types of risk. One is strategic, one is operational. And yeah, Zilber name question, I remember I have solved in classes. It's in BBP kit, I guess. It has a good question on strategic versus operational risk, right? I remember it has a good question on strategic versus operational. So, strategic risk, the Harlan events management industry is highly competitive and attracts new entrants, right? So, it's highly competitive and it attracts the new entrants as well. So that means the industry of event management have bargaining power, or we can say the threats to competition, right? So we can say here the threats to competition is high. So that means Potter have a good chances as well, right? P5F. And the result increases in available providers in the market can result in a loss of market share. And obviously, if the competition is going high, so there's a high chances that you'll be losing the market share. Then this may require more competitive pricing, which puts pressure on margins, and that's fair. If your competition is going high, then what you need to do, then you need to put down your price. And if you're putting down your price, so it's simple that what will be happening, the margins will squeeze, right? Okay, so the margins will increase. Now, one more thing important here is that this area, the strategic risk, have clearly mentioned the competition, but there can be other strategic risk as well of this, right? Other strategic risks, like not making alliances. If you're not making any alliances, there's an issue then, right? This can be an issue. If they're not making any alliances, so this can be an issue, right? Now let's discuss operational risk first, and then we'll discuss financial, economic, and compliance and regulatory risk. Okay? So operational risk, it's simple that IT system failures affect all areas of business activity and negatively impact event delivery. Yeah, this is one of the major particular event, I believe, or one of the major barrier to event is any IT failure, any communication gap due to the system's prohibitions or protocols. If it happens, so there's high chance that this is in your event delivery risk. And if your events, now what will be the operational risk? It's simple that if events are not delivered in right manner, so that means your customers are not satisfied, right? That means your customers are not satisfied. And in that case, it's clean and clear. In that case, it's clean and clear that your operational risks are high. But only IT system risk, considering operational risk, there are many others as well, like low staff or no staff, okay? And inability to procure all the necessary resources when required for individual events, which would put the success of the event at risk. For the event planners, the aim is clear, right? For event planners, the aim is clear that events needs to be successful. If any event isn't successful, now this is an issue, right? If any event is not successful, then this is an issue, right? So a question on strategic versus operational risk, a question similar like Zilber can be tested, right? So strategic versus operational risk. This is clearly, this got a clearly good chance in this paper. Now, let's read financial risk. So associated with some running some individual events may exceed the agreed budget, resulting in loss-making events, right? So exceed the agreed budget. The budget was certain high, like you, I'm the event planner, you are the client, you told me that you want particularly the event in 1 crore, and I got invested, or the event went beyond the budget and it just crossed around 1.2 or 1.3. So you won't be paying me extra. You'll be saying it's your concern. You agreed with me the cost, and if something happens that your margins gets out and you got extra cost incurred, so that's not the client side. It's totally on the this cost totally lies on event managers. Therefore, the ones doing the budgeting, the finance guys, are important here, right? Because finance guys will tell you the exact budget to be done, right? Finance guys will tell you the exact budget to be done. Okay, now We have economic risk. Corporate clients are offered commercial credit terms, exposing Rodnim to the risk of bad debts, which could strain cash management. This is in particularly economic risk. We can see what's that? That offered commercial credit terms, exposing Rednim to bad debts. Oh, this is a financial risk as well. Huh? Financial risk. This is financial risk that you have a risk of bad debts. You have a risk of bad debts if you didn't get the cash. If you didn't get the cash, so this is an issue, right? So you must have to make sure, yeah, there's a standard as well, IFRS 9, the bad debt allowance. But again, the standard would be tested, right? The test here is that you keep the allowance, or you work on advance. These are the controls, right? Why not making controls of each of the risk, right? You should be making controls of strategic rather than going on strategic and operational. Try to make controls of financial, economic, and compliances, so that you know that your company have these risks, and you know that your company have these controls. Yeah, risk of bad debts is there, so deal with good clients, right? Have some good policies, take major amount as an advance. These are certain controls that you should be talking on. Yeah. So financial risk is there, which is an concerned risk. The liquidity position needs to be checked. Have they given us the cash position? So we are profitable, I see. Okay. But there's no cash position, right? So if there's no cash position, we cannot comment on a liquidity, but we need to make sure that we are fine with financial risk. Then we have economic risk, that economic performance will directly impact on demand for both corporate and private events, right? So if the economy is going down, yeah, some couple of students have asked me that, sir, at some page in the start, they are saying that Harlan is prosperous country, but then the industry related data, they have said that there is an economic risk related to this issue. The economy is not that much good. So prosperous country means that they have been very good initially, but now the issues are uncertain, right? So if the something very good happen, it will obviously make impact in the industry. But if something is not that much good, so it obviously will doesn't impact, or it will impact badly to our industry, right? So economic conditions needs to be monitored. Here comes the pest again. And so far it's prosperous, but having some issues right now. And interest rates will likely increase the debt repayments and reduce liquidity. Now, this again is a point of economic risk. Then regulatory risk, that regulation and legislation in areas such as health and safety and information management could significantly impact on event activities. So there's an information management term used. So they are highly likely going to manage their information, right? They are highly likely going to manage their information. And if they are highly likely going to manage their information, what happens is big data plays a role, cloud computing plays a role, right? So unforeseen changes in regulation and legislation. So in areas such as health and safety, you can obviously see that they're event planners. So if something mishappen badly, so there's a high chances that this will be an issue here. And apart from that, you make sure that you are following all the compliances and regulatory. But there are certain other risks as well, just as litigation risk. So it comes under regulatory risk, such as reputational risk. So it's strategic risk, right? So you must be thinking of other risks that they are facing on. And apart from that, why not you see the industry related risk? Environmental issues, operational issues like advances technology, unauthorized selling of event tickets. How Rodnim events manage this? You should be questioning now. You should be thinking of this data as well, like how you tackle with this, right? Similarly, inflations in Harland, how you tackle this, what you have done regarding this, right? So you should be focusing on industry related risk, and as well that mentioned risk and risk register. I believe that they can make a question that what our risk register is not including. Like you should be mentioning certain more risks which are not in our risk register. Okay. Yeah. Now, performance. It's again an easy one. I believe the performance analysis and probably the last 2 pages are kind of an easy one. Let's have a discussion on this. So our income I see has grown very good in this year, right? Good. And in this year, it's not grown that much, right? It's not grown that much. Now, what's that? Huh? If it's not grown that much, you need to deep dive the reasons. Might be low tenders. Similarly, might be low customer satisfaction. Anything, huh? You need to deep down in. But what exactly is happening? Kindly let us know, right? And similarly, if you see the operating profit, so it has declined. Oh my God, it has declined, right? And if we see the trend here that it declined lower here and it declined higher here, right? So the percentage here is of decline is great. You can calculate, like let's say it's 36.75, and in that year it was this, so it has declined a lot. Now the problem is that my revenue, now here come a significant problem here, right? That my revenue is not increasing that much, whereas my profit should have increased a little, so I would be fine. And my profits are decreasing a lot. Now, revenue increased that much, but profit declined more than double of the revenue increase. So that means the question will set a negative tone, right? Will set a negative tone that the company is not going good, right? So they might ask you the reasons, that here comes a strengthening position here, that the new projects diversification is going to be tested. So guys, you should be ready for diversification related questions. Do check nearby question. I remember in there diversification is tested. So in diversification, they want to increase particularly their things, right? They want to increase these things. So fee income, operating profit, we could be analyzing just these things. And they want new projects, and they want particularly go on virtual events. They can pitch that idea, but this position is going to be tested for sure. They could either go for reasoning, they could either go for idea in future, and that idea would be diversified probably, right? Now the last thing is tenders, and what the tenders are: tender invitation, tender submission, tender success. So if we uh, just check here, that 148 minus 128, so it's 20 tenders we didn't participate in, right? We didn't participate in. I don't know why. Obviously, we should be questioning that. Why you didn't participate? It might be out of our capacity, but if we miss the deadlines, so that's an our issue, not the capacity issue, right? And then we submitted that, right? So 58 divided by 128, so it's 45% success ratio, guys. You might be thinking it's fine, but I guess it's less. Obviously, what's the industry passing ratio? What's the competitor passing ratio? Why only 45% tenders have been successful? Why only 45% tenders is successful? This needs to be analyzed in question. And if they have given this kind of data of tenders, a question on tenders is for sure, right? So if we see 45% on submissions, right? Like while submitting a tender, we got 45%, and while taking into invitations, so it's 39% won rate. right? Now that depends on you need to comment that, obviously. Guys, the analysis that I have done, the handouts that I have made, the things I have written, you need to relate with that, right? If they have a requirement of tender, you need to quote these numbers. If they have a requirement related to particularly risk, you need to do the analysis to do write my numbers there as well, right? You need to make sure that you are doing that. So 86% of all tender invitations received during 2003 were completed and submitted to clients by Rodnim, and 45% were these successful. Oh, they have calculated that this was marginal improvement compared to 2002, and this 45% is improved. So I don't think so that we are doing good. We are just doing good from the last past year. We haven't been doing good in the industry. We need the industry comparatives so we can see, right? Marginal improvement, tender success is recognized as a major driver. So this is our major KPI, right? This is our major KPI, and look for that in your exam, like how this tender success rate has worked in exam. If it's grown, it's good. If it's less or maintained, so it's normal. Then we have NPS. So that means they have given us two KPIs, right? That means they have given us two KPIs that we should be looked at. It's 9.1 divided by 10. It's 8.4 divided by 10. It's 7.5 divided by 10. They have particularly discussed that, in which our client satisfaction is down, and they have given a breakup of client satisfaction in the previous pages, right? That how this is derived. So if our client satisfaction is going down, our revenues are not that much increasing, our profitability is going down, we haven't got that much tenders, so requirements and the thinking should be not good. And yes, the comments should be criticism, right? You should be commenting in a criticizing way. The skepticism plays a vital role here, right? Now, NPS is a measure of clients' loyalty and satisfaction drive on a scale of 0 to 10, where 10 is the best score possible. The NPS is useful for benchmarking as it provides insights into how Rodnim is perceived and can be indicative in future business. So again, a good particular thing here, that how Rodnim is perceived, it could indicate the likely future businesses as well. So if we consider this, we need also the industry analytics. Like you can comment while making argument in this, you can comment that if the industry data of client satisfaction or the competitor data would have been given, the analysis would be much more strengthier, or the analysis would be much more stronger. So these are the comments the examiner do, and you can do that as well, right? So guys, I have analyzed this pre-scene completely in a margin of 2 days, so I deserve an appreciation, I guess, right? Well, apart from that, this is the crash course details, right? Our this part is done. Like I've analyzed complete pre-scene parts, right? I have given you the guess of questions. This is, I guess, mentioned here. This PDF will be shared with everyone, those who are added in my group. So if you're in my group, you'll get this PDF, right? And the group is unpaid. You can add and get this, right? So PDF will be shared, and solving 3 latest past papers in which I have solved the Corjets. I'll be solving 1 PVS again, and the football company is your homework, right? That's recent papers. Once you have done that, I require at least 2 days from now to make the mocks. So today is 21 till 23. I'll be making the mocks and I'll be sharing it. I'll take the first class of the mock on 25th and will share the second mock as there. And you can attempt that. I am trying to close all things till 27th and share the feedback of the second mock so that you have an area of improvement. I hope you got things, guys. If you have any question, you can obviously ask. Otherwise, in order to get enrolled in this crash course, do contact me on this WhatsApp number. It's all from my side. Thank you.